Do you ever feel like your digital life is more real than your physical one? It is an unsettling thought, yet one that resonates deeply with millions of people today. The hours we spend online are not just casual diversions, they have become woven into the very structure of our lives. Our messages, posts, and profiles create a parallel existence that often feels more immediate, more expressive, and sometimes more significant than the lives we lead offline. This shift challenges not only our habits but also our understanding of what it means to be present, aware, and fully alive. As of September 2025, our online interactions do not simply supplement our physical realities. They are shaping our consciousness itself. Social media profiles have become mirrors in which we see ourselves refracted and reassembled. Virtual meetings now carry equal or greater weight than face-to-face interactions. Algorithms increasingly act as invisible guides, curating not only our interests but also our values and identities. In such a world, it becomes increasingly difficult to draw a clean line between the digital and the real. At the core of this transformation lies a profound question: what does it mean to be truly present? Presence is not merely the act of existing in a space, but the full awareness of one's being in the moment. In physical life, presence is felt in the body through the grounding sensation of breath, the warmth of sunlight, or the eye contact that wordlessly communicates connection. In the digital sphere, however, presence is mediated. Our awareness is channeled through text, video, or avatars that represent the self rather than the self itself. This mediation creates a paradox. On one hand, our digital lives grant us unprecedented reach. We can connect with people across the globe in real time, share ideas instantly, and build communities that would otherwise never exist. On the other hand, the very tools that expand our reach can fragment our attention. Notifications pull us out of the present moment. The constant demand to curate and respond can leave us feeling more like operators of our own persona than conscious beings living authentically. Here lies the central tension. Are we inhabiting digital life as conscious participants, or are we being carried along unconsciously by its currents? To answer this, we must look beyond the surface of technology and turn toward the deeper reality that underlies all experience: consciousness itself. This is where Consciousism enters the picture. Unlike mindfulness practices that focus narrowly on attention or calmness, Consciousism begins with a broader claim: that consciousness is not a byproduct of reality but its foundation. If this is true, then our challenge in the digital age is not to escape virtual life, but to recognize it as another domain of consciousness that must be navigated with awareness, intention, and responsibility. The opening question then: do you ever feel like your digital life is more real than your physical one? Is more than a casual provocation. It is a mirror held up to our time. If the answer is yes, then we must ask, what kind of consciousness are we cultivating in this digital existence? If the answer is no, then we must ask, are we fully awake to the role digital life already plays in shaping our minds, our relationships, and our world? Whichever way we lean, the truth remains: the digital and the real are no longer separate. They are fused in consciousness. The task before us is not to choose between them, but to learn how to be fully human in both. The promise of the metaverse has been sold to us as the next great frontier of human experience. Corporations describe it as a space where we can live, work, and play with complete freedom, unconstrained by the physical world. It is marketed as a kind of digital utopia where identity, creativity, and connection flourish without limits. Yet beneath the polished presentations and futuristic advertisements, there is a question that cannot be ignored: is the metaverse truly liberating, or is it another layer of illusion? The concept itself is not new. From ancient myths to science fiction, humanity has long imagined alternate realms where reality bends and new forms of existence are possible. The metaverse is simply the latest manifestation of this dream, powered by advanced hardware, immersive design, and near-infinite data. But unlike myths and stories, the metaverse is not just a product of imagination. It is engineered, owned, and monetized by those who build it. This raises an uncomfortable truth: the freedom promised in the metaverse may be an illusion crafted to keep us engaged, while the real control remains in the hands of a few. Consider the nature of digital ownership in these spaces. When you purchase virtual land, clothing for your avatar, or access to exclusive communities, what do you truly own? These items exist only within code that is managed by corporations or platforms. If the platform disappears, so does your investment. If the terms of service change, your rights can vanish overnight. What appears to be liberation can just as easily become dependence. The mirage extends to identity as well. In the metaverse, you can reinvent yourself endlessly. You can shed physical limitations and take on forms limited only by imagination. This can be empowering, yet it also creates distance from the body, from the grounded sense of self that comes from being rooted in physical existence. An avatar can project confidence, beauty, or perfection, but does it nurture the authentic self, or does it deepen the gap between who we are and who we present to the world? This is where Consciousism raises a cautionary voice. If consciousness is the foundation of all reality, then every experience, whether digital or physical, is part of the same field of awareness. To lose oneself in the mirage of the metaverse is to risk forgetting that it is still consciousness at play. The danger is not the technology itself, but the unconscious way in which we use it. If we treat the metaverse as an escape from reality, we risk trapping ourselves in illusions built by others. But if we engage it with awareness, the metaverse can become a tool for expanding understanding, empathy, and creativity. The mirage, then, is not that the metaverse exists. The mirage is the belief that it is separate from the consciousness that gives it meaning. When we recognize this, we can see through the illusion and reclaim our role as active participants rather than passive consumers. We can step into virtual spaces with the same responsibility we bring to the physical world, knowing that both are expressions of the same underlying reality. The metaverse may promise infinite possibilities, but its true value will not be found in what is sold to us. It will be found in how consciously we choose to navigate it. The digital world has become more than a tool, it has become a mirror. Every post, like, and comment leaves behind an echo that reflects back into our lives, shaping how we see ourselves and how others perceive us. These echoes may appear harmless, even trivial, but they create ripples that influence identity, awareness, and the very structure of consciousness in the modern age. Online identities, for example, act like extensions of the self. A photograph posted on a social platform does not simply document a moment, it becomes a symbol, an offering to the collective gaze. Over time, these symbols accumulate, and our sense of self begins to weave together with digital feedback loops. The likes and shares become quiet voices, subtly guiding what we choose to reveal and what we choose to conceal. The danger is not in sharing itself, but in mistaking the echo for the self, forgetting that the projection online is only a fragment of a much greater whole. Algorithms amplify this process. They observe our actions, learn our preferences, and begin to curate the world we see. Instead of browsing freely, we are presented with a filtered reality designed to maximize engagement. This curated stream shapes not only our interests but also our emotions, our beliefs, and even our sense of truth. It becomes a kind of invisible architecture, directing attention in ways that often go unnoticed. While it can feel empowering to have content tailored to us, it also means that our consciousness is quietly being molded by forces outside our control. In this environment, presence becomes difficult. Are we truly in the moment when we scroll through a feed, or are we lost in a projection of ourselves and others, shaped by invisible code? Consciousism would argue that our awareness remains primary, even here. The problem arises when awareness is forgotten and replaced with automatic reaction. To be conscious in the cloud is not to reject digital spaces, but to remember that they are spaces of mind. They are extensions of the same consciousness that animates the physical world. The challenge is to reclaim agency, to engage with digital spaces while knowing that algorithms are not neutral, that projections are not the whole self, and that echoes are not the original voice. Consciousism calls us back to awareness, to see clearly how digital structures reflect and shape the field of consciousness. When we approach them consciously, we can use the cloud as a tool for growth rather than a trap of illusion. Digital echoes do not have to be chains. They can be reminders that even in the most complex systems of code, it is still consciousness that observes, experiences, and gives meaning. The cloud may host the data, but it is the mind that breathes life into it. As our lives weave together with digital networks, we stand at a crossroads between presence and distraction, between authenticity and projection. The digital divide is no longer just about who has access to technology, it is about how we, as conscious beings, engage with it. On one side lies the temptation of endless scrolling, curated personas, and constant stimulation. On the other side lies the possibility of using digital tools to deepen awareness, foster authentic connection, and strengthen our sense of self. The challenge begins with attention. Our awareness is perhaps the most valuable resource we possess, yet in the digital economy it is constantly bought, sold, and competed for. Notifications, recommendations, and targeted content fragment our focus, training the mind to leap from stimulus to stimulus without pause. In this state, presence becomes fragile. To navigate consciously means to reclaim attention as something sacred, to choose when and where it rests rather than allowing it to be pulled by invisible strings. Another dimension of this divide is identity. Online spaces encourage us to present polished versions of ourselves, carefully shaped to gain approval or admiration. While this can feel rewarding in the moment, it often comes at the cost of authenticity. The digital self becomes a mask that, if worn too long, can cause us to forget the face beneath it. Consciousism suggests that the self is not defined by projections, but by the awareness that observes them. To navigate the digital divide is to remember that no avatar, post, or profile contains the fullness of who we are. Practical strategies emerge from this recognition. Setting boundaries with technology is not about rejection, but about balance. Choosing intentional pauses from digital spaces allows the mind to return to stillness and to reconnect with the physical world. Cultivating conscious habits such as mindful scrolling, deliberate posting, or questioning the source of information helps maintain clarity amidst constant noise. Even small acts, such as silencing unnecessary notifications or scheduling time for digital rest, can begin to tip the balance toward greater presence. The divide is not meant to be a barrier, it is an opportunity. It invites us to decide whether we will live as passive consumers shaped by algorithms or as conscious participants shaping our own digital experiences. Consciousism does not demand withdrawal from technology, but insists that we meet it with awareness. When we do so, the digital world becomes less of a trap and more of a tool. It can serve not as a replacement for reality, but as a space where consciousness extends itself, experiments, and grows. Ultimately, navigating the digital divide is about remembering that technology is never neutral. It will reflect back the intention we bring into it. If approached unconsciously, it can fragment and weaken our awareness. If approached consciously, it can strengthen, expand, and connect us more deeply to ourselves and to others. The choice is ours to make, moment by moment, click by click. The story of technology has always been the story of humanity extending itself. From fire and the wheel to satellites and artificial intelligence, every tool we create becomes a mirror of our own potential. Yet as technology grows more immersive and powerful, the danger emerges that we forget the mirror and mistake the tool for the source of meaning itself. To look beyond the screen is to ask how these tools can serve consciousness, rather than allowing consciousness to become their servant. The future of technology will not be decided solely by engineers and corporations. It will be shaped by the level of awareness with which society chooses to use it. Virtual reality, augmented intelligence, and bio-integrated devices all hold immense promise. They can help us learn faster, connect across distance, and even explore the inner landscape of the mind. But without a guiding framework, these same technologies risk deepening isolation, eroding attention, and exploiting human vulnerability. The real frontier is not the technology itself, but the consciousness that meets it. Consciousism offers a way forward by centering awareness as the measure of progress. Instead of asking only how advanced or profitable a tool is, we begin asking how it affects human presence, balance, and meaning. Does this technology strengthen our ability to live authentically, or does it fracture our attention into smaller and smaller fragments? Does it foster compassion and clarity, or does it cultivate distraction and dependence? These are not secondary questions. They are the very heart of what makes progress truly humane. One possibility for the future is conscious digital design. Imagine platforms built not to maximize engagement, but to cultivate mindful use. Imagine algorithms that adapt not to exploit craving, but to encourage reflection and balance. Ethical AI development could be guided by principles that place human awareness at the center, ensuring that intelligence expands our capacity for wisdom rather than narrowing it. These ideas may sound idealistic, but history shows that the values we embed in technology today will define the culture of tomorrow. Beyond design, the conscious future also depends on personal practice. Each individual carries the responsibility to engage technology with intention. By practicing awareness in digital spaces, by noticing how the body feels while scrolling, by reflecting on the motives behind posting, by observing the emotions triggered by constant connectivity, we begin to integrate technology into the rhythm of conscious life. In this integration, technology becomes less of a master and more of a partner. Looking beyond the screen does not mean rejecting the digital world. It means recognizing that its ultimate value lies in how it serves the deeper project of human evolution. A future where technology serves consciousness is not only possible, it is necessary. For only in such a future can we ensure that our tools expand our humanity instead of diminishing it. The conscious future is not something to wait for. It begins in each decision we make today, in each moment of awareness we bring into our digital interactions. Step by step, click by click, we can build a world where technology illuminates rather than obscures, where progress is measured not just in data and devices, but in the depth of human presence. Every age has faced a defining choice. In the past, humanity's crossroads were marked by fire, agriculture, printing, and industry. Today, our turning point is digital. The tools we create now shape not only how we work or communicate, but how we perceive ourselves, how we relate to one another, and even how we define reality. At such a moment, neutrality is no longer an option. The way we meet technology, with awareness or without it, will determine the kind of future we inherit. Consciousism calls us to rise to this challenge. It reminds us that progress is not just about faster machines or more powerful networks. It is about cultivating the quality of our inner lives. Awareness is the ground from which every human achievement springs, yet it is also the first casualty when distraction becomes a way of life. To protect and strengthen consciousness is to safeguard the very essence of what makes us human. This call to action begins on the individual level. Each person has the power to reclaim attention, to step back from endless noise, and to choose intentional presence. It can be as simple as pausing before unlocking a phone, asking, "Why am I reaching for this?" It can be as profound as setting aside time each day to sit in stillness, free from screens, reconnecting to the breath and to the body. These small acts are not trivial. They are seeds of transformation that ripple outward. But this call is also collective. Our institutions, platforms, and technologies must reflect values that place consciousness at the center. Developers, educators, leaders, and citizens all share responsibility in shaping systems that protect awareness rather than erode it. Just as past generations built libraries, schools, and public spaces to cultivate learning and community, we must now build digital environments that nurture presence, authenticity, and balance. The challenge is urgent, but the hope is real. Consciousism does not ask us to abandon technology, it asks us to guide it. It insists that we have the ability to shape a digital age where humanity does not lose itself but discovers deeper dimensions of being. By embedding awareness into both our personal choices and our collective structures, we can create a future where technology serves as a bridge, not a barrier, to the evolution of human consciousness. This is the task before us. To live more fully, not more quickly. To design tools that expand compassion, not just consumption. To remember that beyond every screen is a human being whose awareness matters. The choice is ours, and it begins now. In the end, the question is not whether technology will shape us, but how we will shape ourselves in relation to it. The screen may glow, the networks may hum, and the algorithms may whisper, but beneath it all remains the same truth. Consciousness is the foundation of every experience we have. If we forget this, we risk becoming lost in a maze of distractions. If we remember it, we discover that we already hold the key to freedom. Consciousism invites us to step into this remembering. It does not deny the power of science, the reach of technology, or the allure of digital worlds. Instead, it places them in perspective. They are tools, reflections of our creativity, extensions of our will. But they are not the essence of who we are. Awareness is. The simple act of noticing, of being present, of witnessing life as it unfolds, is both the oldest and the newest frontier. Hope lies in this recognition. For no matter how overwhelming the pace of change may seem, consciousness is never out of reach. It is here now, waiting in every breath, available in every moment. By turning toward it, we discover that the future is not something happening to us. It is something unfolding through us. The digital age does not have to diminish our humanity. It can amplify it. It can bring distant voices into dialogue, create communities across boundaries, and inspire creativity on a scale once unimaginable. When guided by awareness, technology becomes a canvas on which human beings can paint with clarity, compassion, and purpose. So let us move forward not with fear, but with resolve. Let us shape a future where progress is measured not by the size of our machines, but by the depth of our presence. Let us live as reminders that behind every tool, every code, and every innovation stands the enduring light of consciousness. The hope-filled ending is simple. We are not powerless. We are not lost. We are not fragments of data adrift in a digital sea. We are conscious beings, capable of guiding our own evolution. And with that awareness, the path ahead is not only survivable, it is radiant with possibility.